Hi, everybody. My name is Jason Klein. I am the Director of P-20 Initiatives at Northern Illinois University, and part of my role is to facilitate the P-20 network, which is a network of school districts and post-secondary institutions working to support the goal of having 60% of Illinois adults with post-secondary degrees or other workplace credentials by 2025. While we're not able to be together for our spring meeting due to the shelter-in-place executive order and the closure of schools and post-secondary institutions physically, learning obviously continues for students across Illinois, as it does for school leaders at all levels, as well as teachers and faculty members. And we're really excited to have this presentation for you with representatives from two really important school districts in this work, from Naperville 203 and Belvedere District 100. So Nick and Jill, we're going to turn it over to you. Jill, go ahead and get us started.
So good afternoon. My name is Jill Hlavacek, and I am Director of Innovation and Learning in Naperville School District 203. I am involved in the career pathway work because a lot of my work streams within the district revolve around our career and technical education and bringing kind of change processes in place.
Yes, and my name is Nick Butenhoff. I am the Director of Career Readiness for the Belvedere Community Unit School District, number 100. In my position, I've been in my position for about 3 years, and it was created by my superintendent, Dr. Dan Weisman, in response to the Post-Secondary Workforce Readiness Act, which is a lot about what we're going to talk about today. So really excited to share some of the work that we're doing in Belvedere with you all.
So Naperville School District is a unit district of about 17,000 students. We have kids from all the way from early childhood through 12th grade. We have 14 elementary schools, 5 middle schools, and 2 comprehensive high schools. Much of our culture is driven around college going. About 97% of our graduates attend college. And historically, we have not had a huge impact around or influence around career readiness. But in 2013, our superintendent did a series of community engagement work and developed a 5-year strategic plan from those community engagement sessions, where he identified about 47 different initiatives that would be implemented in 2-year increments. And that started in 2015. And 2 of those large blueprints were around college and career readiness. One that's driving our work is around high school and college and careers, where we're trying to embed more college credit opportunities for our students while they're with us. And the other blueprint initiative was really around our comprehensive counseling program, where we redesigned that program to really embed post-secondary planning and preparation for our students as well.
And the Belvedere School District, you can see some of our stats here. 2 high schools, it's a unit district as well, 2 high school, 2 middle schools, 6 elementary schools. And you can see some of our student population numbers there. Our superintendent came in, I mentioned that Dr. Weisman, our superintendent, created my position in response to Post-Secondary Workforce Readiness Act. Part of his feeling that this was a good fit to have a position like mine in the district was when he came into the school district about 5 years ago or so, created a strategic plan with a lot of what the strategic plan was all about was creating a student-centered learning environment for our students in Belvedere. And so that's part of why he felt like the Post-Secondary Workforce Readiness Act was a good fit for the district in the work that the community wanted us to do.
So as school administrators, as educators, as business partners, what do you know about career pathways? So today what we kind of wanted to talk about was we're going to review a little bit of the Post-Secondary Workforce Readiness Act and its components. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the foundational background in career pathways and the career pathway endorsements. And we're also going to share some of our work and our actions around this work. Nick and I, our hope is that we kind of show you that getting started in this work is not as difficult as it looks, and that there's no real exact roadmap that every school district follows, and no real defined process. And there are many different ways that you can implement and start down this pathway of work. And the Post-Secondary Workforce Readiness Act is one of those things that provides some structure and some ideas to districts as they're getting started. So as we talk about framing our work, we wanted to take a little bit of a bird's eye view and talk about what kind of roles does legislation, along with our local districts, play in framing that why of the work. So beyond those district commitments that both Nick and I talked about, we know that at the national level, the Every Student Succeeds Act, or ESSA, has the college and career readiness indicators that districts will be reporting out. And they'll talk about percentages of their students that are college and career ready with that criteria. We've also mentioned the Post-Secondary Workforce Readiness Act, or the POWER Act. That was signed into legislation in Illinois in 2016. And that framework really is to help our students avoid remedial coursework and to help them persist in those post-secondary education pathways linked to career goals. And so those are components both at the state and national level. We already mentioned that all of our districts have kind of those local initiatives that ground us. And then many of you are probably involved in conversations around the Perkins 5 reauthorization. We know that that work also involves creating pathways for students. So here in Illinois, we know that helping students be college and career ready isn't just a nice to have anymore, right? That we really do have components that we're going to be measuring our school successes around. The great thing about this is that it moves more away from that one indicator of success for students, and it helps us to start redefining what student success looks like by collecting evidence of their learning and their preparation in a variety of different experiences and ranges of what they do. For example, we now know that our junior high and high school students are going to have ways that they can start showing college and career readiness through their involvement with coursework, through their involvement with activities outside of school. So this is a kind of a success. We're all moving towards ways that we can kind of educate that whole child and hopefully finding ways for them to know what they're passionate about, know what the world needs, and how they can go about doing that. What we have done locally is we've really taken some of this legislation and we've built kind of components of the work. And as you hear Nick and I talk and share examples, they're going to be in different buckets. We're going to talk about pathway development. We're going to talk about workplace learning experiences. We're going to talk about college and early college credit opportunities, comprehensive counseling curriculum, and an individual learning plan. At the state level, again, that POWER Act, there's 4 main components of that that really help school districts to kind of create incentives for endorsements and for moving students along this path. The first component is really talking about post-secondary and career expectations, or that PACE document. We like to refer to that a lot about along with our career curriculum. We have opportunities under this legislation to really pilot and try out competency-based learning models. We also are charged with partnering with community colleges and developing those transitional math and soon to be English opportunities so that we can ensure our students are on track in those core areas. And then local school districts also, through the work of the Post-Secondary Workforce Readiness Act, are able to award diploma endorsements to students in particular career cluster areas. That PACE document is one of the first things that both of our school districts looked at, because this document really tells us benchmarks for what students should know and be supported in doing through 3 key areas of career exploration and development, college exploration, preparation and selection, financial aid, and literacy. And it's broken down for those in 8th grade all the way through 12th grade. So it does give kind of a nice framework as we're building some of those benchmarks for students. When we talk about transitional math and soon to be transitional English, really the goal there is to prevent barriers for students who may not have success through college. What we know is that when our students enter college and they're able to take those core coursework at college-bearing credit level, they're much more apt to persist and complete their degree. And so the part of this legislation really charges us with partnering with those local community colleges to help design math courses that will allow students to enter the college environment ready and at that level.
And so what Jill's talking about here is a lot of different tools that can help school districts blur the line, is what I like to say, blur the line or smooth the transition from the 12th grade to the 13th grade, from schools to whatever's next for them. And what this legislation acknowledges is maybe there's some tools that weren't in place before that we need to put in place to support districts, and maybe we need to even start thinking about how we do school in a different way. And boy, is that timely given our current circumstances here, right? And so the part of the legislation allows districts like Belvedere, and you can see some other example districts here, to apply to be pilot sites across the state to experiment with a competency-based approach towards a learning system. And really exciting, but all of that stuff is tied together towards the opportunity for school districts to offer pathway endorsements on a high school diploma. And so you can see here through the legislation the different components. There's an individualized plan, career focus, instructional sequence, professional learning, academic readiness. And so in Belvedere, one of the things that we work to do is try to simplify this model. And so really what we're trying to do through the endorsement area or the endorsement process is allow students the opportunity to identify a career interest that they might have and pursue that through different opportunities through the high school experience. And so what the endorsement is here is four pillars is essentially how we describe it in Belvedere. So that the student should have a plan for their high school experience, that, as I said, they identify a career interest area. And I should mention on a previous slide, what you might be familiar with in the past is career clusters. That's a term that we've used for a long time. And in the state framework through the PWR Act identifies 7 what I call super clusters, right? So you can see those there: agriculture, arts, communication, and so on. And so what the endorsement process allows students to do is identify one of those broad clusters, make a plan for their high school experience, complete a sequence of courses that allows them to pursue that career interest. And then we want students to participate in professional learning and, of course, also have academic success along the way. You can see different things tied together throughout that, but how we like to think about this is you should have a plan to get through your high school experience, to transition yourself into whatever's next for you. Part of that big plan should probably have 3 different parts. You should have goals around academic success, and again, transition math and soon to be transitional English, great parts of that plan to help ensure that you're ready to pursue that post-secondary training. That part of your plan through your high school experience should be the opportunity to complete career-focused courses. So I think I'm interested in business. I should then be allowed to, or have the opportunity to pursue courses in that career interest. And to acknowledge that, you know, those types of learning experiences shouldn't just be limited to the 4 walls, so to speak, of the high school building, but that those professional learning opportunities could occur inside but also outside the school through professional learning experiences. And the result of that plan and all of those different pieces of that plan could result of an endorsement on the high school diploma. That's generally how we like to think about what the endorsement is, with the big part of that being the individualized plan for a student.
Yeah, and so our approach is very similar, as you're going to see. We in Naperville kind of took our individual learning plan, our ILP focus, and we really grounded it within our new counseling curriculum. So our school counselors have been working for the last several years to develop curriculum maps for our 6th through 12th grade counselors to deliver to students. And so those counseling maps, really, you will see the PACE document on there. You'll see the different benchmarks for each grade level. And the curriculum was identified then, to, as Nick mentioned, to really help foster that academic performance, that college and career exploration and selection, social emotional learning, and that financial literacy. So this team, last fall, we launched, those curricular lessons. We built a site for to house all of those for our students and our teachers, and move that forward again through each of our junior high and high school departments. Along with that, in order to help ensure success for all students and that they would have this individual learning plan that would be mobile and move with them from 6th grade through 12th grade, we did also implement an individual learning plan electronic tool. And after a formal RFP process within the district, we selected school links to support this part of the learning so that we would have this electronic platform to kind of capture the evidence of student learning as they move through our program.
Yeah, and so here in District 100, one of the things that we worked on, and I will apologize here to Jason, it is lunchtime in the Butenhoff households. That excites a certain West Highland Terrier up there. So I apologize if that comes through the audio system. 'Tis the world we live in, anyhow. But the way we looked at our first step towards students having an individualized plan in the high school experience is, hey, we just want our students to be able to identify one of those endorsement areas. And so a tool that we created was an endorsement guide, a career guide that we gave to all of our freshmen. And so as you kind of page through that guide, students have the opportunity to learn the different endorsement areas. They're able to see the steps they need to take to make their endorsement selection, which includes going to their counselor and having that conversation. But then what it also includes is information about different careers that are available in Boone County. And so what we did is we traveled around to different local employers and took some pictures of the work that's going on and created this guide. And so you can kind of page through here. You can see in Boone County, we have General Mills, so they learn about the manufacturing careers that are open to them. They can see, I'd see some keywords of how this might be the right interest of them, and some information about dollars that they might be able to make or potential openings. But then also in the bottom right corner, if that's the endorsement area that they'd like to pursue, what are the next steps that they should take? What's the next class that they should take? And so again, that's a guide that we gave to all of our freshmen this year as a first step towards them creating an individualized plan.
So our first step in developing that career-specific course pathway was to really kind of audit what we currently had. What programs do we have in place right now? So in partnership with our high school leaders and department chairs, we reviewed our course catalog and organized all of our offerings and programs to align with the areas of career clusters. We now have published our Naperville 203 Career Pathways Guidebook, and this communicates all of our high school course offerings in a way that makes easy connections for students and families to those specific career or industry areas. Students use that guidebook, which is also online, to help kind of document and learn as they're selecting their courses and making their four-year plan. This book also, to Nick's point, we have added other things besides just the coursework, but this book also aligns many of our clubs and activities with career pathway areas for students so that they can easily make those connections with their extracurriculars to their post-secondary goals. Since that initial audit, we identified areas where we could actually launch or publish diploma endorsement pathways. So our class of 2023 also, our freshmen have options in 3 particular areas, 2 of them in IT, systems, and 1 in programming. And then we also have an education pathway that's ready that students can select for an endorsement area. We are currently working to add pathways, 2 in our agricultural education area around plant science and animal science. We hope that we will be able to launch soon an entrepreneurship and health sciences pathway as well.
Yeah, so although we did give like an actual physical magazine to all of our students, we acknowledge that, hey, if our students take this home and start having conversations with their parents or their families or whatever mentors they have in their life, maybe there's some additional resources that the students would want to go to learn more about this. And so what we did is we created our online course catalog. And on that, part of that restructuring was just the general framework around endorsements. And so you can see on the online course catalog, as you kind of go up there, you could see, oh, there's a button, there's a button to learn more about endorsements, and you can see the different endorsement areas there. Through there, there's different videos where students could watch and learn about, oh, I'm interested in ag, maybe I can watch this video and learn more about what the different pathways would be about that. And if I was to complete this course sequence, what does that course sequence look like? What should I take as a level 1 course, as a level 2 course, a level 3 course? And what you can see here as you look at our crop management career pathway, key part of this endorsement work is really that partnership with post-secondary partners to allow students the opportunity to get early college credit as they complete their career interest coursework. And so through the development of career pathways also comes this increased opportunity for students to earn college credit while they're in the secondary schools, which is super duper exciting.
So another piece of that framework was really unpacking for us what that professional learning area in the pathway endorsement framework meant. And for us, it really meant an awareness, an exploration, and a preparation focus for students. As you can see in that legislation, it does identify that students should have 2 career exploration activities or 1 intensive one. They should have about 60 hours of supervised paid or unpaid career development experience. And they should have at least 2 team-based challenges that they would complete to really help round out their experience and, again, take it outside of just those classroom walls. So we started to think about the professional learning experiences that we wanted our students to have in relation to their pathway work. We started to realize that many of these experiences, as I'm sure you will learn as well, already existed in our programs. So using the structures provided through the P-20 network, we started to audit those professional learning activities. We also decided that whenever possible, we wanted to build these opportunities within our courses or co-curricular clubs, just to really promote that equitable access for all students. At one of our Career and Technical Education Crosstown Institute days, we actually charged our teachers with beginning this work. We formed course teams and asked them to audit the current offerings aligned to each of the courses that we have. We asked them to identify the strengths and areas of gaps. Within those identified gaps, we also asked them to propose shifts or changes that could happen to ensure that these professional learning actions or activities were going to be embedded into those course content.
Yeah, and I agree, Jill. The idea of having that sort of conversation about what opportunities are already available or what school districts are doing. Our district in Belvedere is a one-to-one district, and all of our students receive Chromebooks. And so just having a conversation with our teachers about developing team-based challenges as part of our IT pathway, we came to realize, like, man, a lot of our students might get a kick out of being part of the Chromebook repair. And talking to our IT director, like, we could use all the help we could get on fixing our Chromebooks. And so we're currently working on, in District 100, a student-led Chromebook repair so that students get that sort of hands-on professional learning experience. Again, just something we had in place that we just need to start tweaking a little bit to increase those learning opportunities.
So we also, really looked at kind of those authentic learning and partnerships that we had existing within our district as well. So we began to review those, and we discovered that a lot of the things that we were doing was in alignment with the Power Act requirements. And that we do realize, though, we have a lot to do to be able to scale this to the size that we want and to have equitable opportunities for all students. So we're really working to design some structures that support work-based learning experiences. So for example, we have a business council on college and career readiness, where they have a mission, a website, and we have regular meetings with these industry and local partners with the charge of trying to increase those authentic experiences and projects for our students. You will note that we have a lot of team-based challenges now and authentic experiences that have really become kind of an annual event or an annual part of the coursework. We, for example, have a mock trial that our business law kids participate in every year with, it's housed at the courthouse with mentors. Our architecture students, they're actually charged by the city every year with a problem, a real problem that their work to design and solve and provide proposed solutions to. They work with an area architect as a mentor, and then they present to an actual judges panel at the end of the year. We've also designed an annual medical conference for students to attend, and an accounting competition where they get to not only compete, but hear from mentors in the industry. And then we have an entrepreneurship incubator where our foundation has partnered with us. We have business partners throughout the year working with particular student teams. And we have kind of a large Shark Tank-like pitch event where kids actually get on stage at the end of the year to an authentic audience and pitch their ideas for potential seed money for their businesses. So again, things that we already were doing, but with just little tweaks and changes fit some of the criteria for those students to earn diploma endorsements.
Yeah, and you know, those are all great examples. And I think as anytime you think about any sort of public education system in the community that it serves, one in education would like to think that the public school system is the heart that pumps the blood through the community. And so one way that all this endorsement stuff can do is help to enhance the sort of partnerships between the district and local employers. And so when we started this pathway work, and we started developing a manufacturing pathway in our high schools, brought in some local employers and just asked this question. You know, if District 100 students got an endorsement in manufacturing, I said, what should they know or be able to do? And they started brainstorming ideas, and we took those on sticky notes, and they came up with things like CAD reading and print reading and those types of things. And so what I then did is took some of the competencies that were identified through, so you could see some examples of what our local employers came through. And then what I did is took some of the work that Ed Systems did with Jobs for the Future in developing manufacturing competencies that kind of outlines what as a student completes a pathway in manufacturing, here are the competencies they should be proficient at. And we did a brainstorming activity, taking those local ideas, comparing them to this list here that was kind of created with employers across the state. We did a brainstorming. And on the next slide here, you might not be able to see exactly all the different sticky notes, but what you can see here in white is those are the competencies that were developed by Ed Systems and Jobs for the Future, which were great. And the yellow there is the local needs identified by Boone County employers, just to show great alignment. But what great conversation there was there to say, hey, here's what we think we would like to pursue in the schools. Is that going to help you in the businesses that you run and the employees that we know you need? And so just great conversations there to start developing those sorts of partnerships to allow for some of those great learning opportunities that Jill kind of described. So really excited about some of the work that's going to be coming up here in the future.
So I think done is better than perfect. So we hope that maybe there's a few takeaways from some of the things that we're initially doing that might help with your work.
So I want to jump in and thank both of you. The work that is going on in each of your school districts is awe-inspiring to see where we're at. And part of the idea of us having a network is that we're able to learn from each other and share with each other. And so while the conversation that we'd like to have face-to-face is clearly not going to happen right now, we do want to encourage everybody that as we settle into this new normal for however long it goes, please if you've watched this video and have questions, certainly feel free to reach out to me because I can help facilitate conversations. And Jill and Nick, congratulations to you and your colleagues in both Naperville 203 and Belvedere 100. The work being done, not just at school districts, but as we've seen highlighted in multiple presentations for our spring meeting, alongside the community, our community college partners, it really is creating some truly amazing opportunities for students. We know that authentic learning is at the heart of really helping students learn, and all of these examples are great examples of authentic learning and of the kind of school that most of us wish we had had the opportunity to go to. So thank you guys for creating that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jason, to everyone in the P-20 network.
There is a full slate of videos from our spring meeting. You can always connect with us on Twitter at P20 Network, and we look forward to the kinds of opportunities that we'll create in the follow-up to this spring meeting to continue the conversations. Thanks again, Jill and Nick.